Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to the Mega News, the 6th live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Great Estate, Nungwa Ajogono. My name is El Samuels. We take a look at the headlines. Mahama presents 13.8 million compensation package to families of helicopter crash victims. In business, inflation threatens Ghana's hard-won economic progress. On the international front, Hamas agreed to Trump's Gaza disarmament plan, official tells BBC. Details of these stories and more we also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. We'll bring you the details after the break. In our first story, President John Dramani Mahama has presented a 13.8 million compensation package to the families of those who lost their lives in the recent military helicopter crash. The gesture forms part of government commitment to supporting the bereaved family whilst honoring the service and the sacrifice of the victims. The government has officially presented a 13.8 million compensation package to the families of the victims of the recent military helicopter crash. At a solemn ceremony, President John Dramani Mahama expressed the nation's deepest condolences, describing the deceased as dedicated public servants whose commitment to duty would never be forgotten. The president assured the bereaved family that government stands with them during this difficult period and remains committed to their welfare. The compensation package is part of a broader measures to support the affected families while the nation continues to mourn one of its most tragic aviation disaster in recent history.
The Accra Circuit Court, acting under the Workmen's Compensation Act 1963, Act 174, awarded a total compensation package of 13,872,962.40 pesos to the dependents of our 4 civilian officials who lost their lives in the tragedy. Similarly, in accordance with the Armed Forces Regulation 1992, LI 1546, compensation packages have been processed for the families of our fallen military personnel. Today, government formally hands over these compensation packages to the respective families.
Meanwhile, government has announced a series of commemorative activities to mark 1 year since the tragic military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of the senior government officials and security personnel. The event is intended to honor the memories of the victims and also reflect on their services to the nation. Government has unveiled a program of activities to commemorate the first anniversary of the military helicopter disaster that shook the nation. The observance will include memorial services, wreath-laying ceremonies, moments of silence, and other tributes to honor the lives and service of those who perished in a crash. Officials say the anniversary is not only a time to remember the victim, but also an opportunity to reaffirm the nation's appreciation for their dedication and sacrifice. The commemorative events are expected to bring together government officials, security agencies, bereaved families, and members of the public in a collective tribute to those who lost their lives. Now, moving on, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Agba Sumana Kingsford Baldwin, has announced plans to establish a sunset fund aimed at providing financial assistance to vulnerable and underprivileged Ghanaians. The initiative seeks to strengthen social support and offer those in need. Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Agba Sumana Kingsford Baldwin, has pledged to establish a sunset fund to support vulnerable members of society. The initiative is designed to provide financial assistance to the needy, particularly those facing hardship and limited access to essential resources. Right Honorable Baldwin said the fund reflects his commitment to promoting compassion, social justice, and shared responsibility for the welfare of disadvantaged Ghanaians. He called on individuals, corporate institutions, and development partners to support the initiative, stressing that collective action is essential to improving the lives of the country's most vulnerable citizens. In our story, a parliamentary affairs analyst is calling for serious national consideration of extending Ghana's presidential term from 4 to 5 years, arguing that such a long tenure could improve policy implementation, governance continuity, and national development. A parliamentary affairs analyst, Clement Akola, says Ghana should give serious consideration to adopting a 5-year presidential term. According to him, the current 4-year tenure often leaves government with limited time to fully implement their development agenda before attention shifts to the next election cycle. The proposal, he argues, could provide greater policy continuity, strengthens long-term planning, and reduce the pressure of constant political campaigning. However, the suggestion is expected to spark public debate with constitutional experts, political parties, and civil society groups likely to weigh the potential benefits against concerns over democratic accountability and electoral checks on executive power. A fellow at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development CDD Ghana is urging Ghanaians and political actors to respect the decisions of state institutions even when they disagree with the outcomes, stressing the confidence in democratic institutions is vital to the country's stability. A fellow at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development CDD Ghana, Dr. John Osei Kwapon, is calling on citizens and political stakeholders to respect decisions of state institutions regardless of different opinions. The fellow noted that disagreement with institutional ruling is a normal feature of democracy but should be expressed through lawful and constitutional means. According to the analyst, upholding authority and independence of public institutions is essential to preserving the rule of law, democratic governance, and national cohesion. The comment comes amidst heightened public debate over recent institutional decisions with renewed calls for all stakeholders to prioritize peace, constitutional order, and respect for due process.
To add to that, we are also living in a period where trust in our key institutions, including the courts, right, as per 10 rounds of Afrobarometer, also is at an all-time low. So it's that tension I was talking about, the law, public opinion, public perception, the politics of it. How do you hold public officials accountable? But at the same time, how do you respect the independence of institutions like the court? But whilst at the same time also ensuring that an accused person is also protected against the state. There's no easy answer to how you reconcile all of these points of tension. I, for example, was very appreciative of the breakdown of the ruling that Professor Kweku Azad did, on his Facebook page, to at least give the public some sense of this is what the court tried to do and here's how the court arrived at their decision. So there's an element of public education and public engagement around these things that helps. But beyond that, people would still hold whatever opinion they want to hold, whatever perceptions they want to hold. It's good that the Court of Appeal decision was also made public. Sometimes the sharing of information can help mitigate against some of these things. But it's also good that there's still one more step. So that from the High Court to the Appeal Court to the Supreme Court, at least we've also built in other mechanisms that allows us to get to a place where whichever way the decision lands, at least it protects the integrity of the courts that is involved in this. I mean, institutions are such that when their decisions don't align with what you perceive or what you expect, naturally, the thing you you are predisposed to do is to question the rightness or wrongness of whatever an institution is doing. But it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy place for a court to find.
Now, moving on, a child injured in a tragic road accident along the Jowolo-Accra Mall stretch has died whilst receiving treatment at the hospital, bringing renewed concern over road safety on one of Ghana's busiest highways. A child who sustained critical injuries in a road crash along the Jowolo-Accra Mall road has died whilst on admission at a hospital. The latest development after the human toll of the accident, which involved multiple vehicles and left several others injured. Emergency responders rushed victims to nearby health facilities following the collision, whilst police launched investigation to determine the cause of the crash. Authorities are urging motorists to exercise greater cautions and comply with traffic regulations as concerns grow over the increasing number of road accidents across the country. And that's how we wrap up with the major stories that we're crossing over to the business desk. Coming up next with the details with Nadede Gogo, and also don't forget sports, entertainment, and international stories comes up after the break.
How can we some look fast? Baba, me again. Let's go, Yale. Me call you, ma'am. Who hear me? Me and sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. See what we swear. She has malaria. Malaria. Oh, what they say? What the router? Me copy the absence here. A drone a friend router mix. Yeah, come on, let it draw. And running so Gaptrap and the draw ku abaso body ase wabo ruta mixture abaso ruta natural products no ne ruta mixture ya e de kutia atridi ruta tonic and the ruta life wa e huhuru e finish radi bone e fini padua mu na support immune system no ruta de obi ase ye FDA ade dwede nkrato ya tu.
Welcome back from that break, and this is the business news with me, Nadede Gogo. In business, economic analysts are warning that persistent inflation remains a major threat to Ghana's economic recovery, cautioning that raising prices could undermine recent gains in macroeconomic stability and slow the country's development agenda. Economic experts have warned that inflation continues to pose a significant risk to Ghana's hard-earned economic progress. According to analysts, although recent indicators point to improving macroeconomic stability, sustained price pressures could erode purchasing power, increase the cost of doing businesses, and weaken investor confidence. The stress that keeping inflation under control is essential to protecting household incomes, sustaining economic growth, and preserving the benefits of ongoing fiscal and monetary reforms. The experts are urging policymakers to remain committed to prudent economic management to ensure that recent gains translate into long-term stability and improve living standards for Guineans. Still in business, Ghana has set an ambitious target to increase electricity access to 99% under the Global Missions 300 initiative as government intensify efforts to connect more communities and improve reliable power supply across the country. Government is aiming to achieve 99% electricity access under the Mission 300 initiative, a program focused on accelerating energy access across Africa. The target forms part of efforts to expand power infrastructure, connect unserved communities, and support economic growth through reliable electricity supply. Government says achieving universal access will improve livelihoods, strengthen businesses, enhance education, and support digital transformation. Energy sector stakeholders, however, say sustained investment, efficiency distribution system, and innovative financing will be critical to ensuring that increased access translates into dependable and affordable power for Ghanaians. Let's go for a break. Farah Ayi joins with sports and entertainment.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055-5940-103 and 0241-972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
Good evening. This is still the Mega News at 6 p.m. right here on MBN TV. Now, in the world of sports, a senior advisor to FIFA President Gianni Infantino has resigned amid growing controversy surrounding a proposed stake sale linked to FIFA's World Cup commercial operations. The move has intensified scrutiny over the organization's plan to restructure its business interests.
A senior advisor to FIFA President Gianni Infantino has stepped down amid fallout from a proposed stake sale involving FIFA's World Cup commercial assets. The resignation comes as questions continue to emerge over the governance, transparency, and financial implications of the deal. The proposed commercial restructuring is aimed at creating new revenue opportunities around FIFA's flagship tournaments, but has drawn criticism from some stakeholders concerned about oversight and decision-making processes. FIFA has maintained that its commercial plans are designed to strengthen the organization's financial future and support the growth of football globally.
And now in the world of entertainment, Ghanaian musician Ara DJ has surprised fans with the release of a new spiritual themed EP titled Crystal Disco, blending contemporary sounds with messages of faith, reflection, and personal growth.
Ghanaian artist Arati J has unveiled a surprise EP titled Crystal Disco, a project centered on spirituality and self-discovery. The EP explores themes of faith, gratitude, and life's journey while showcasing the artist's unique fusion of modern rhythms and soulful storytelling. The release adds to Arateje's growing catalog and highlights his creative evolution as he experiments with deeper and more reflective musical expressions. Fans and music enthusiasts have welcomed the project, describing it as a refreshing blend of sound and spiritual inspiration.
Now that's all for sports and entertainment with me, Farah Ayi. Up next is the foreign news with El Samuels.
MBN Jasunie, Fremi Ejahima, Sawupa MBN Jasua, Fremi was 0245 88 2128. MBN Jasu, come home, na yendi eja at the right place.
Welcome back from the business, sports, and also entertainment world. It's now time to turn our attention to the world stage, where Hamas officially have told the BBC that the group has agreed to a proposal by the former U.S. President Donald Trump that include the disarmament of Hamas in Gaza through Israel are yet to officially respond to the development. A Hamas official says the group has agreed to elements of a proposed plan by Donald Trump aimed at ending the conflict in Gaza, including a commitment to disarm. The official told the BBC that Hamas had accepted the framework, which reportedly seeks a pathway towards ending hostilities and addressing the future governance of Gaza. Israel has not yet commented on the claim, whilst details of the proposal and the conditions attached remain under scrutiny. The development comes amidst ongoing international efforts to secure a lasting ceasefire, release hostages, and find a political solution to the conflict. Away from the Middle East, we move to Kenya, where Spain has deployed additional security forces to the North African enclave of Ceuta after thousands of migrants entered the territory from neighboring Morocco, triggering a major border security response. Spain has sent troops to Ceuta after thousands of people crossed into Spanish enclave from Morocco in a sudden surge of arrivals. Security forces have been deployed to reinforce border controls as authorities work to manage the situation and assess the number of people who enter the territory. Ceuta, along with Melilla, are Spain's only land territories in Africa and have long been focal point for migration attempts into European Union. The latest incident has renewed discussions over immigration management, border security, and cooperation between Spain and Morocco. And that brings us to the end of this evening bulletin, live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. It's July the 31st, the final bit of it for this evening. But we take a recap of the stories making headline before taking leave of you. Bahama present 13.8 million compensation package to families of helicopter crash victims. In business, inflation threatens Ghana's hard-won economic progress. On the international front, Hamas agreed to Trump's Gaza disarmament plan, official tells BBC. Thanks for staying with us. Remember, the Business Bulletin was brought to you by Nadede Google Sports Entertainment with Farah Iron. My name is El Samuels. For more news, log on to MBN 360. Thank you and have a good evening.